Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Um, it's the offseason for the Cowboys, and they're not waiting to start making changes and start the process over. Stephen Jones, aka Catboy, yes, it's time to bring back Catboy because Catboy is part of the reason why we have not won the Super Bowl. But be that as it may, the Cowboys, of course, as Stephen Jones says, player acquisition is a 365-day-a-year job, and you're always looking to get better, just not spending money to get better. Well, in order to acquire players, you need to know who's going to be the ones that are coaching them. Um, right now, we're looking at right now the Cowboys have several expiring coaching contracts. We know that Dan Quinn is doing his second interview, who's under contract with the Arizona Cardinals. We know that Kellen Moore is still in Carolina. We don't know if they're doing a second interview with him or not, or if he just doesn't want to go back home. Could be he's just hanging out in Carolina because he doesn't want to see the public in Dallas. I don't know. But they're starting their second interviews as well, and maybe we'll see if Kellen Moore is one of those guys. He did interview for him last year, so it's a familiarity with him for sure. So coaches with expiring contracts that will not be returning. Linebacker coach George Edwards, running back coach Skip Peete are both on expiring contracts and will not be returning next year. So we're already starting the process of bloodletting and figuring out who's going to be here, who's going to go. And shout out to damn Gina, who sent me a tweet. And this was Bill Parcells' assessment of the Cowboys. I think they're a good team. They don't have the top quality quarterback in Dak Prescott, but I do think he's good enough to win with. I just don't think they have to put pieces around him. They just have to be more resilient in the overall scheme. Their defense is pretty good, but their overall offensive scheme has to be more balanced. I also think that they're going to have to invest in some new running backs. Tony Pollard had a great year, career highs of 1,378 scrimmage yards and 12 TDs, but I don't know if he can hold up too long physically. And he's a free agent this offseason. I think Zeke is near the end. It's hard to argue with any of those assessments. And, I before this news on the coaches not coming back, I was doing my numbers and things and looking at Tony Pollard because we look at it and say, oh man, we got to bring back Tony Pollard. The problem with running backs, year 4 is pretty much the peak. After year 4 is when running backs start to get older. They start getting broke. They start breaking down. Their numbers start to go back downhill. Now, to Tony Pollard's advantage, at least, is he split time with Zeke Elliott, so he doesn't have the typical wear and tear. But you can look at Zeke Elliott in year 4. Since that time, it's been a steady decline. And unless you are Barry Sanders or Adrian Peterson, for the most part, it's hold true for running backs. And this is sad because they take more abuse and, generally speaking, never get the bag. But kind of surprised, though, that George Edwards, I thought our linebackers actually did pretty good. And I thought our running backs did better, too, this year. I looked at how Tony Pollard became a better blocker and things. And for Skip Peete not to come back, that's kind of a surprise. But hey, football, here today, off season tomorrow. And that's the way it goes when you play football. Change gonna come. Change gonna come. All right, good people. I'll get back to my research. Peace.